Now, according to a White House official, US President Trump has suspended military aid to Ukraine, sharply escalating pressure on Kiev to agree to peace negotiations with Russia.
Right, and the report comes after US President Donald Trump condemned Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for saying that a deal to end the war with Russia was very far away. Trump called Zelensky's assertion the worst statement to have been made by him. Trump warned that he would not put up much longer with Zelensky's stance on the war.
I want to see it end fast. I don't want to see this go on for years and years. Now, President Zelensky supposedly made a statement today in AP. I'm not a big fan of AP, so maybe it was an incorrect statement, but he said he thinks the war's going to go on for a long time. And he better not be right about that. That's all I'm saying.
The latest remarks came after the Ukrainian president accused Russia of not being serious about peace. Zelensky reiterated that tough security guarantees were the only way to end the conflict. And the US president stepped up his threats, hinting that Zelensky won't be around very long without a ceasefire deal with Moscow.
We have to make a deal, and the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It can be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal, and if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long, because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else.
Trump and Zelensky should be more appreciative of the billions of Trump. This is what Trump said, that Zelensky needs to be more appreciative of the billions of dollars of military aid that Washington has contributed.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us because, as you know, that's right there. That's the border. This country really was like the fence on the border. It was very important to Europe, and I'm not knocking Europe. I'm saying that they were a lot smarter than Joe Biden.
During an event at the White House, however, Trump had played down reports that he could halt military aid for Ukraine.
Have you decided if you're going to suspend military aid to Ukraine? Have you made that decision?
Well, I haven't even talked about that right now. I mean, right now, we'll see what happens. A lot of things are happening right now as we speak. I mean, literally as we speak. I could give you an answer and go back to my office, the beautiful Oval Office. I could go back into the Oval Office and find out that the answer is obsolete.
In addition, the U.S. president offered hope that a minerals deal that fell through last week due to the row could be revived.
Ukraine minerals deal now dead, or can it be revived? What's your...
Well, I'll let you know. We're making a speech. You probably heard about it tomorrow night, so I'll let you know tomorrow night. But no, I don't think so. I think it's a great deal for...
And meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky in his nightly address said that he wants the fastest possible end to the war in his country, but ceasefire without US security guarantees will be a failure.
We need peace. Real honest peace, not endless war. And we need security guarantees. It was the lack of security guarantees for Ukraine 11 years ago that allowed Russia to start with the occupation of Crimea and the war in Donbass.
On the ground, Ukrainian officials reported fatalities from a Russian missile strike on a military training facility some 130 kilometers from the front line. However, according to a US-based Institute for the Study of War, Russian forces advanced less on Ukrainian territory in February than in the preceding months.
The data showed that Moscow advanced by 389 square kilometers in February itself, after advances of 431 square kilometers in the month prior and 476 square kilometers in December 2024.
And well, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani is now joining us on the phone line. Hi, Susan. In an unprecedented move, Trump has now paused military aid to Ukraine. First up, what will be the implications of this on the battlefield, and how is this a blow for Ukraine's efforts against Russia? And also talk to us about how this also builds pressure on Ukraine's European allies.
European leaders have expressed concern over this development. They're already responding. They're emphasizing the importance of sustained U.S. support for Ukraine's security and stability in the region. So the situation, although remains fluid, there is ongoing discussion about the future of U.S. involvement in Ukraine inside Europe tonight as we speak, your morning, and its implications for international relations in general. You know, where will these countries stand to defend Ukraine, and are they even willing to? But ultimately, you know, this suspension seems to be geared towards pressuring Ukraine into the negotiating table, or the signing of this mineral agreement on the one hand, or a commitment to some kind of peace negotiation. Because if you see that it came about immediately, almost after Zelensky said today, earlier, that he just anticipates a prolonged war. And it appears the Trump administration believes that as long as weapons are flowing, American weapons are flowing, then Ukraine doesn't have an incentive to stop this war.
Susan, you know, ever since that interaction at the Oval Office, and there was the London summit which took place, but everything has to, I mean, in all the statements that we've heard from the leaders, at the end of all of what they pledge, they say we are going to now take this to the US. So when the US is the deciding factor and everyone agrees to it, what is taking so long? I mean, do you feel Zelensky, the longer he takes, it's only getting worse because Russia is advancing on a daily basis?
Yeah, it's unfortunate we don't really hear a lot of the stories from Ukrainian battlefields and how much Russia is advancing. That's really a problem for public opinion, at least. You know, the issue with Zelensky was, and this is according to the Trump administration, and then Senator Murphy from Connecticut himself, who's a Democrat, he admitted on social media earlier yesterday that he met with Volodymyr Zelensky before that Oval Office meeting and encouraged him not to sign this mineral deal with Donald Trump, essentially interfering in those negotiations. So that's one aspect of it for the United States. Another aspect is, first, Keith Kellogg went to Ukraine to talk to Zelensky about this mineral deal. Zelensky said he'll sign it. Then second, Scott Bessent was sent from the Trump administration to Ukraine. Then Ukraine said they'll sign it. They didn't again, Zelensky. And then it was the third time at the Oval Office where he specifically came to sign this mineral deal, and Zelensky didn't sign it. So now he's saying that he's willing to sign it, and the Trump administration is taking this with a grain of salt because they don't know if they'll come out again and say we have a deal to sign and Zelensky backs out. How is that going to make the Trump administration look?
Yeah, there are a lot of variables here, and you know, if that deal gets signed, this is what President Trump also posted on his social media handle, that if that deal gets signed, that's kind of an insurance policy for Ukraine as well, because US will be positioned right at the border thereon, and that becomes that insurance that Ukraine needs at this point. But of course, we'll need to wait and watch how this one pans out, what Ukraine needs to decide next. We'll be tracking those developments closely. That was Susan Tehrani joining us over the phone line from New York.